main highlight figure of this week, and possibly the best Shenhe third-party figure I've seen. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your weekly figure news fix. This time around 13th to 18th of May 2024. This week for the genuine figures can be easily summed up as a week for people with expensive taste, right? A lot of huge, large scale, expensive scale figures. On the third party side, well, as usual, half of the total inventory, half of the list of figures on pre-order are either Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. Okay, so without further ado, let's move on to HobbyLink Japan, our affiliate partner, to check out the genuine figures first. And as usual, yeah, I have selected the figures I want to cover this week's figures on pre-order. Okay, let's begin with 1x4 scale as usual. 1x4 scale Albedo Black Bunny version by freeing 40,000 yen because of those wings over there, and coming out this October once again. That is way too fast and it is making me doubt freeing a lot, yeah, right? I say this almost every week. Like, freeing used to require 9 months on average to release figures. Like, what happened to them? Pushing the deadline even faster. Like, their schedule nowadays 5 to 6 months for a release, and they release many figures a month. I wonder if they opened a new production line, a new factory or something like that. Now I have the same complaint as last week when Nabrel went on pre-order, where Nabrel was white color bunny. Yep, on the bottom right corner over there you can't see it because I have already blurred it off. Last week, Nabrel Gamma, yes. Her bunny suit was white color, and then we already got a brief look at what all 3 characters would look like over here. So we already know that Albedo is coming in black, and then the third character, Sheltier, maybe next week with white color outfits again. Now, yeah, it is beginning to feel like a very low effort work from freeing. Just black all over, black outfit, black wings, black stockings and so on. So, I don't know, man. Maybe it is just me not being a big fan of the series Overlord, so I'm not attracted to this. But even if I was a fan, I would say this figure is pretty disappointing to look at. Yeah. Moving on to the next one over here. Okay, we have actually a 1x5 scale by Charm Selfish Princess. Okay. I love the colors on this thing. Maybe because of her sleeves, and is it the ribbon behind her? Those are turquoise color ribbons with the black dress. Yeah. And nowadays I am seeing this character design becoming a trend, you know, like literally two plain straps of cloth covering the oppai. I think Azalane also had character with this design. Yeah, it is becoming very common. Even a number of non-figures out there also have a very similar outfit. So this one coming from Charm is going for 31,000 yen, releasing this October. Man, that is really fast. I love the colors, and hopefully that Charm gets this figure right. At least, you know, the 1x5 scale offsets that feel where, you know, figures in kneeling or sitting pose like this tend to feel rather small in size. At least they increased it to 1x5, so maybe this figure will feel quite substantial. Yeah, I love big figures. Moving on to the next one over here. Okay, we have 2 options, 1x3.5 and 1x5 scale. Like, what is up, man? What is up with giant expensive figures this week? Okay, this one, oh, a very cultured title. Like, the artist behind this pair of characters know what he or she is doing. World where the thickness of a girl's thighs is equal to her social status. I'm not sure if I like ultra thick thighs. I actually like slightly more slender legs compared to this pair of figures over here, but this is not bad. 1x3.5, man, this is huge, right? So a pair of 1x3.5 figures, Gora, Aiza, and Iroha Shiki Kura at 98,000 yen by Pure. Yeah, pretty reasonable, right? So this is about, let's make it 50,000 yen, right? 50k each. And they are slightly bigger than 1x4 scale, plus they come with cast offable parts. Yeah, we can display the figures Hadaka. So at this price point, I would say this is extremely reasonable. A pair of figures for those of you with very deep pockets, but if you can afford it, man, this is an amazing purchase, right? Of course, there is the 1x5 scale pair I mentioned earlier for 50k, which is once again very reasonable for a pair, and you can buy them separately but only at 1x5. 1x3.5 is like a premium product, they are not selling them separately. Though I see no logic in buying them separately for 25-26k each, these two are a perfect pair, man. They go really well together, you need both, right? Regardless of which scale you go for. Okay, moving on to the next figure over here, more high-end stuff. 1x4 scale Ultimate Premium Master Line Gurenn Lagann Kamina Simone, right? And then there's Yoko with Lagann. Our thoughts hit the heavens. DX version. Okay, this is originally 285,000 yen almost. So this is quite a substantial discount. 267 after discount. There is, yeah, almost a 18k or 20k price cut. That is a lot. Okay, and there is a cheaper version over here for 239 after discount. So with Praman Studio, their usual, they charge you more, the DX version, if you want extra faceplates and extra parts to swap out, but you're paying like 30,000, 40,000 yen extra, up to you to decide whether it is worth it or not. Okay, and the one thing I have noticed with Praman Studio is that, you know, their promo pictures, their official product pictures are just so cluttered and so messy to look at. Like here they have a summary of the extra stuff you're getting with the DX version, but man, the image is so messy. These are official product photos. They are photos, not CGI render or anything, but I have no idea what their design team is doing when they designs all these, you know, official product pictures. Like, oh, they can be quite painful to look at. Well, someone commented in my Facebook post on this trio of figures saying that if this was out 10 years ago, they would have considered it. Yeah, and that is the major issue with a lot of anime figures featuring classic anime characters, like very memorable, very famous characters from 10, 20, 30 years ago. Sometimes, right, as time passes and then you get to watch more anime, play more games, you start falling out of love with the older stuff. Some people will feel nostalgia, like there is this old series that is always special to them in their hearts in a way, but for some of us, we actually fall out of love for something we used to like as a child. For me, the best example would be Digimon. I loved Digimon as a child, right? When I was in primary school, in elementary school, and even in the earlier days of my high school, I loved Digimon. But by now, by today, I mean, I look at all this amazing merchandise coming from Bandai and so on, like, I don't have any urge of buying them at all, even though I used to love them, right? My favorite Gurenn Lagann figure is still the very simple Yoko Littner figure with a sniper rifle on her shoulders like that. The one by Alter came out like 10 or 15 years ago. That is still my favorite figure from the Gurenn Lagann franchise until today, and that figure obviously is rare AF, right? Okay, this is not something I would buy for sure. I don't question the quality at all, and this Yoko Littner over here, oh, this is amazing. I actually like what I'm looking at over here, but 267k plus shipping, no, not my kind of thing. Moving on to the next figure, yeah, we have a lot of cultured figures every week. So this is 1x6 scale Stella and Sadie illustrated by Mendoku Sai. So the artist is a big pain in the butt, right? By Party Look, Chinese figure brand. 50,000 yen for a pair of 1x6 scales plus cast of ball parts. Yeah, great purchase. Once again, this Oppai squeeze feature and pose is done to death already. So many figure brands have done it. Alter has a pair of Azalen figures with a similar pose. However, the outfit and character design, I love it. So I'm not complaining over here. And of course, once again, you can buy the figures separately, 26,000 yen each, but there is no reason to do so at all. Like, You know, the main reason why you wanted this pair of figure is because of the way they are, you know, squeezing into each other, pushing into each other, that makes them attractive. Without the other half, buying only one, it makes no sense to me. Yeah. Otherwise, for the rest of the character design, yeah, this feels like the kind of outfit you would see in a strip club or something like that. But then again, very attractive. I have no issues with it. I want it. I mean, the more I look at this pair of figures, the more I want it. So I am going to stop looking at these pictures before I get poisoned even further. Moving on to the next figure, we have 1/7 scale Hatsune Miku Beauty Looking Back Miku version. What kind of name is that? Like, sometimes the Japanese, well, including the Chinese as well, the third parties, sometimes they really need to think carefully what it translates into in English before they name a figure version name in their own language. Like, it sounds so weird sometimes. Yeah, I mean, she is looking back, but you call it looking back version? Okay, anyways. This is coming out in May next year for 25,000 yen, a year away. And it feels like today, Good Smile Company is just treating, you know, Hatsune Miku like a universal cosplayer of some kind. They take the character and then they dress her up in 100 or maybe 6,900 different ways and then keep selling you figures of the same character, just a different outfit. Yeah, this is very traditional, like very, very traditional in a way. The thing is that I don't like this very traditional old school hairstyle where, you know, women, they just roll their hair backwards like this and reveal their forehead in their full glory. Yeah, exactly like this, because I don't know, man. This kind of hairstyle make women look older than they actually are. At least that is what it feels like to me. So I'm not sure if I like this hairstyle at all. If I were to display this figure, I would, you know, turn her around. I think this angle over here, she looks perfect. The default angle, this one over here, it looks weird. Like, we are just looking at her back, right? Okay, moving on to the next figure over here. More cultured stuff that are extremely attractive. 1/6 scale Astra Star, the Saint Praying to the Stars illustration by Sora Nairo. Okay, by Vibrastar, 20,000 yen. I think the exclusive version is only available in Amiami apparently. I think it comes with extra merch and stuff. And this standard version, apparently, she also comes with an extra faceplate. I mean, HLJ included the picture in their product pictures over here, so it must be included, even though it is just normal version. 20k, 1/6 scale, yeah, great value. And I love her face so much, like this character design, I love it. Also, nowadays, this is also becoming a trend where they use a tiny object to literally cover only the nipple. Like, what is up with this trend in character design? I don't like it, right? I don't like it, but other than that, everything else about this character, I love it. Moving on to the next figure from Alpha Max, we have 1/7 scale Meido Buso. Oh, this figure feels like a perfect match to that Meido Javelin figure by Amakuni, which came out, was it late last year or earlier this year? Yeah, the one that had a really nice ass. I still liked the Amakuni version a bit more in terms of the pose. Yeah, I think I like that one way more, not just a bit more. This one, she looks fine, but then she is a great pair to the Amakuni one. I think most likely Skytube and Alpha Max is trying to complement the Amakuni version because Amakuni did that figure at 1/7 scale. So it was pretty out of character for Alpha Max. Is this under Skytube or not? I'm not sure. Pretty weird for Alpha Max to do 1/7 because their Skytube figures are often all 1/6. Now it is beginning to make sense. I think they are trying to complement the one made by Amakuni. Sometimes these figure brands, they actually collaborate behind the scenes. Like, there is one set with this many characters and then they split the workload. But anyways, Alpha Max, their quality is great. Skytube, they make great figures. I have no issues with it. So this is a good buy, even though it is on the very expensive side. I mean, 1/7 for 31k. Not too bad when you consider the fact that you are getting extra parts, right? Yeah, this DX version, you're getting a second body, a second torso with that different face expression, and she is holding a smartphone taking a selfie over there. So if I look at it that way, the pricing is somewhat reasonable. Yeah, standard version is around 26,000 yen or so, which I don't recommend. Just get the DX version. Yeah, there we go. 26,000 yen for the standard version. Oh, I see. You know, some figure brands, they like to call standard version STD version. I was about to ask, is that syphilis or HIV? They need to be more specific with the STD. If they meant standard, then S is capital, T and D should be small alphabets, not not capital letters, man. Capital letters means that it is an abbreviation. Next figure over here, another figure with barely covered Oppai. 1/6 scale Vertex Original Elf Village, 14th Villager. Wow, this is their 14th character already in this, this Elf series by Vertex, which I have always highly recommended. This is perhaps their most expensive one yet at almost 50,000 yen. For very obvious reasons, like the amount of detail on this thing is just next level. And man, that huge scarf behind her, I could have passed her off as another FGO character. The design language, no, it is quite suitable. Is there a limited version? Yeah, I think there is a limited version of this figure only in Amiami. Once again, Amiami exclusive all the time. Yeah, 55k and you get that extra face plate over there. Are there anything else included in the box besides an extra face plate? Okay, at the bottom, there we go. There is an A3 wall scroll and also the special grass design base. Yeah, I have forgotten about that. Vertex, when they do the limited version, the base, they actually use this realistic looking grass. Well, not exactly realistic, but you get my point. Different base. Yeah, so unfortunately, if you were to get this figure, I would say pay another 5,000 yen for those features. And get it at Amiami. The thing is that Amiami charges you, the Japanese 10% tax, which I am not a big fan of. And secondly, their shipping cost can be insane at times because, they are very protective of their parcels. You know how Amiami loves putting figures into giant carton boxes and that increases your shipping cost in folds? Yeah, that is something subjective, right? Some people love it, some hate it. And for me, I'm not even sure whether I like it or not because, you pay a few thousand yen more in shipping normally, but at least the box does not arrive damaged, right? What do you think? Share with me your personal opinion. Which is your preference? Do you prefer lower shipping cost but the box is also smaller and risk a dented figure box, or you don't mind paying more for a larger carton box so that your figure box does not get damaged during shipping? Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Moving on to the next figure, more expensive stuff this week. 1/6 scale League of Legends Jeans and V statue set by Preorders. June release next year for 115,000 Japanese yen. Of course, you can buy them separately. 68,000 yen each, which is so not worth it because 68k, let's make it 70. Yeah, two of them is almost 140, but if you get it as a set, 115k, which is a huge discount, seriously. Other than Apex Toys, I think Apex Toys is the only one that has been making League of Legends figures all this while, and the prices were very competitive. So if this is too much for you, then get the ones made by Apex Toys. Yeah. I mean, I personally think this pair of figures over here, they are actually resin figures. They are not skilled PVC figures. If they are, they wouldn't cost this much, man. Yeah, I think these are resin figures, either resin or polystone. Okay, moving on to the next one over here. Perhaps the least impressive figure of the week. 1/7 scale Akebi's Sailor Uniform Komichi Akebi Summer Clothes version by Proof, 17,000 yen after a small discount, December release. Yes, I know I have mentioned before that I love JKs, but this isn't it. This is too boring. This is seasonal anime, right? I remember seeing that title Arcabis Sailor Uniform in torrent websites. Yeah, I've seen that name somewhere, even though I know nothing about it. Lolly JK, thumbs up, but this is not lewd enough for me to consider. Moving on to the next one, 1/7 scale Prisma Wing, the case study of Vanitas. Okay, 38,000 yen almost. Yeah, as usual, Prisma Wing, Prime 1 Studio, they keep overpricing their PVC figures. I know it looks fabulous, but this is nowhere near worth the asking price they're asking for over here. Hey, I think literally every single figure they have placed on pre-order so far, just because they are Prime 1 Studio, they priced it really high. They had a Graftalia figure which looked very mid and they were asking for 28 or 30,000 yen. So I am not too surprised by the pricing over here, but it is not like you guys have a choice, right? You want a figure of Vanitas? This is the only one, because I doubt that any other figure brands would even bother to make a figure of him. Yeah. There is a chance where Furio might make one. Only Furio I can think of that will make a figure like this, but no, I'm not counting on them either. Moving on to the next one, we have two low-cost figures over here. The first one, Tenital Ai Haibara. Ai Haibara, very familiar name. Is this from Detective Conan? Should be, because Detective Conan is being recommended down there, sitting on the same couch, the same sofa. Anyways, this is 5,400 yen, coming out this December. Yeah, must be from Conan, not my kind of thing. And the last figure on HLJ for this week, Pop-Up Parade Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, 4,000 yen, coming out in November. The thing with muscular anime male characters, right? A lot of them skip leg days. Like, they have a very muscular body, and then the legs are so slender. This one is not too far off. Okay, let's move on to Amiami for some exclusive items. The first one over here, Amiami exclusive. From DMM Factory, we have Urza Scarlet Ataraxia Armor version, 33,000 yen. And coming out in December. Okay, with all those effect parts, 33k sounds okay. That is a lot of figure for 33,000 yen. Unfortunately, Amiami exclusive, right? You know this ability where you have a lot of flying swords or spears around? This kind of ability has been done to death. Like, a lot of fighting anime at least has one character with a similar ability. I mean, in Fate series, we all know Gilgamesh and his Gate of Babylon. And then I think Recreators also had the main antagonist, I forgot her name already, also had a similar ability. Yeah, like fighting anime, they all have some characters with this skill over here. Now, this is actually one of the better looking Urza Scarlet figures out there, and if you want something that is very dynamic action pose, then this one is something I can recommend. DMM Factory is a fairly new entry to the world of anime figures, but it is more like they are starting to make anime figures. All the time they were making some other kind of products in Japan. I'm not too sure of the details, but apparently it is a rather well-known brand in Japan. Yeah, that is what I heard from you guys, by the way. Do you think this will be out in December? I'm not confident. I would say this will be delayed. This is a pretty complex figure to be coming out in 6 or 7 months. Okay, moving on to the next Amiami exclusive, we have Green Heart from Hyperdimension Neptunia. I don't remember seeing Green Heart in the anime adaptation. Yeah, I don't remember seeing her, but I might be mistaken. So this is almost 40,000 yen, Amiami exclusive. And made by Amakuni. Of course, this is going to be a fabulous figure when I see Amakuni over there. What is weird is that Alter did Purple Heart and Black Heart, and then they ignored every other character, and now Amakuni is doing Green Heart. March 2025 release. This kind of character design, science fiction language, I love it so much, but I have already been traumatized by Hyper Dimension Neptunia when I broke my Purple Heart figure by Alter a few years ago. And you know, when that happened, I was so angry at myself, I was so upset, and in a desperate attempt to display the figure the way it should be displayed, I did something really stupid. Like, it is one of the dumbest thing you will see anyone do to a figure, and I wasn't the damage. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a separate video in future once I feel mentally prepared for it. Anyways, this is a must-have for Hyper Dimension Neptunia collectors. A must-have, seriously. I also think this is the very first figure of Green Heart. There are no other figures of Green Heart. Everyone were just spamming purple or black heart, right? Moving on to the next one. Okay, this is an Aniplex Plus exclusive, but as usual with Aniplex exclusive stuff nowadays, after a certain amount of time, it went on pre-order in Aniplex website. Amiami will also make it available for pre-order. Only Amiami so far. And this is FGO Lady Avalon Pretender class servant. 1/7 skill, a very overpriced 28,500 yen because of FGO tax and Aniplex tax, right? Aniplex and Kadokawa, they are producers of anime. They are the license holder of many franchises. They can do whatever the F they want with the pricing, and people will buy it anyway. And that is the problem, right? I mean, a simple summer swimsuit figure with an umbrella for 28k, this is too much. This is obviously FGO tax at work over here. I want it. Of course, I want this figure. And I am going to wait until after release before deciding what to do with her. And if her value goes up, which I think is very unlikely, if her value goes up, I'll just look for help over at Taobao again. Yeah, I'm not going to pre-order this thing. And speaking of being a FGO fan, I don't even know what Pretender class means anymore. Like, the original concept of 7 servant classes in the Fate Stay Night series, like this whole concept of servant class is so bastardized nowadays. Like, I don't even know what class is what anymore, and what are they supposed to mean. Yukikaze Mizuki Bunny version from Taimanin series. I'm seeing an increase in popularity of the Taimanin series lately. Both third parties and licensed figure brands are starting to push out more figures. That is very welcome. So this one is by Binding, 40,000 yen. Yeah, 40k is okay for something like this, I suppose. Like, for Taimanin collectors, it is a must-have. And between this Yukikaze and the other big Oppai character, what is her name again? Never mind. I like Yukikaze more because Loli Daisuke. Yeah. I like her more, just purely from a character design standpoint. And I really wish that I could grab one of these figures over here. But 40k is a lot of money. Okay, I would say this is a figure I would highly recommend, as long you have no problems displaying figures like this at home. Moving on to the next figure over here. Okay, the last 3 figures from Amiami are cultured stuff, like so many of them this week. Hyo Uma original character Moso Tights 43 Suzu-chan. 1/6 scale by Hot Venus, 27,500 yen, coming out in April next year. Okay, yeah, go and check out this listing yourself. It is in the Amiami adult section. I actually like it quite a bit, right? And she comes with a ton of optional parts. So 27,000 yen is actually not bad at all. Moving on to the next one over here. Okay, this feels like a classic Tonitaka art character, except I don't think it is. The character design is slightly different from the Tony art I know. A girl from the future who came to collect. Wow. Just call her a Bukake Queen. Why a long title? Call her Bukake Lover Bukake Queen. Anyone here who loves Udon Bukake, let me know down in the comments below. 1/6 scale by Deities Collector. First time I'm seeing this name, Deities Collector. 25,300 yen, coming out in April next year. Generic edgy figure in missionary position. That is all I can say. I've seen like at least a dozen or 2 figures with this kind of pose. Too common, right? You buy it just because you like the character design or you like the artist behind the character. And the last figure on Amiami, this figure actually went on pre-order last week. I missed out on it, right? Sometimes it happens, like while scrolling through figures, I did not notice it. So I'm going to cover it briefly over here. Binding creator's opinion. Hong Long. Wait, is this a Chinese character? She doesn't look Chinese to me. Okay, 1x4 skill by binding, 40,000 yen as well. Now this is smoking hot. If you love big backsides, yeah, pick one up. So we had a missionary figure and now we have a doggy style figure. What a great way to wrap up things over here. But before that, a quick stop at Nin-nin-game. Okay, we have something for furry lovers this week by Beeful and Insight. It all depends now whether you are willing to give this figure brand a shot despite their notorious reputation. So we have tempting classmate in Hit Komugi. As usual with binding, Insight figures, two options, 1x4 skill for 27,000 yen and 1x6 skill for 19,000 yen. Yeah, pick your poison. So basically, because I can't put her pictures on screen, what I can tell for you guys over here is that, yeah, just JK figure, school uniform, and the uniform is semi-translucent, so you can see all the important parts underneath. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have 4 versions of this figure. Yeah, 1x4 scale Vulgamate Gugurika for 27,000 yen, and of course we have 19,000 yen version and 1x6 scale. And then lastly, we have 1x4 and 1x6 without any clothes on, right? Pick your poison. I would say if you are interested, buy the one with clothes on because, the figure looks more detailed this way. It is that simple, right? I love details on figures, so at least that is what I think. But if you love lolly with no clothes on, then perhaps get the one without any clothes on. As for this character, yeah, the head is big, I know, but I think it is more like her hair. It is because of her hair, her head looks big, but actually the proportion, head to torso proportion is actually okay. I don't think there is anything wrong with it. And the last 2 genuine figures for today, yeah, we have Hada Parka Fu Una, 1x4 scale by Insight, 27k, and yeah, 19k at 1x6 scale. So what I can describe over here, we have a JK character, but one that is extremely attractive. Like, I love this face expression so much. The problem is that we have 2 giant Mami Mulkies on her chest, which is not my kind of thing. Yeah, still, I would recommend it because of her face, but I wouldn't recommend it because of the brand behind the figure. So it is all up to you, right? So as you can see this week, expensive stuff across the board, except for the RKB Sailor's uniform figure earlier. And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. As usual, we move on to third-party resin figures making use of OzGK, which is our affiliate partner as well. Please make use of some of the product links I included below if you are interested in those figures as a way of supporting this channel. Alright, so now for third-party resin figures, I think it is a very similar pattern every week where half of the figures I cover Genshin or Honkai stuff or anything made by MiHoYo. The same case again this week, though we have an amazing looking Shenhe figure. Right, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, to start things off, One Piece, right? We have 2 or 3 One Piece figures this week. One at the end of the video because it is too lewd to be inserted in the early part. It makes editing easier for me, when I group all of the edgy figures at the back so that I won't miss out on them. Okay, firstly, we have Sugar Honey Studio 1x6 scale swimsuit Nami from One Piece. Like, how many Nami figures has there been? Not that different from Boa Hancock, isn't it? This is $189 coming out in December. Generic swimsuit figure with some water splash effects. Buy it if you like it, but if you don't, not a problem either. You wait for the next Nami figure by a third party. We almost have something every week or 2. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have Shirahoshi from One Piece by Chai Studio, $208 at 1x7 scale. No release date yet, right? No, I don't think so. There is this trend nowadays where many third-party resin figures does not have a release date until much later. I don't like this trend. Yeah. Okay, so we have... I mean, this is a better mermaid than the remake one by Disney. I mean, this is so much better. If you know what I mean. Shirahoshi, same thing. There are many figures of her. This one doesn't look too bad, but it is only 1x7, 1x8 scale-ish. So it is up to you. Moving on to the next one from Naruto, we have Tsunade by Ling Yun Studio. $553 at 1x4 scale. Yeah. Okay, this is actually an articulated figure. Yeah, with fabric outfit. And of course, you can remove the clothes. So I can't say I like it. Like, if they were to do action figure, seamless ones, do it in 1x6 or 1x3. 1x3 because they are the same scale as Dolphins, right? So you can display them next to each other. 1x4 scale is such a weird scale to do this kind of action figure because, yeah, you can only display them next to your freeing and binding 1x4 scales, and they don't blend in really well with existing action figures out there in the market. Realistic face, which looks fine over here, but that is about it. I find this figure to be rather average looking otherwise, right? Nothing special about it. Moving on to the next one over here from MG Studio, we have Misty and Brock as well. Okay, from MG Studio, 1x8 and 1x20 scale. I don't know why 1x20 exists. Okay, 1x8 scale, $99 only. And we have Brock as well. Other than Kotobukiya, has there been anyone else who made figures of the human characters in Pokemon? I don't think so, right? Only Kotobukiya, yeah. And some of the older releases can be quite hard to find as well. So this might be worth considering. Moving on to the next one over here. This is a really nice looking figure of Dark Magician from Yu-Gi-Oh! By Hello Studio and Monkey D Studio. 1x4 scale, $585. There are two head sculpts or faceplates included. This is the anime style art, which I love it so much. This looks really nice. And then there is a realistic version as well, where is the pictures. Yeah, realistic version, it is pretty, right? But not my kind of thing. Now, if we look at the entire figure, wow, this looks fabulous. Very nice. This is a great addition to those of you collecting Yu-Gi-Oh figures. $585 with that base over there and LED lighting, I would say somewhat reasonable for a 1x4 scale resin statue. Next one from LMXC Studio, original character Guan Xing, and I have no idea what I'm looking at. This is 1x8 scale, but because it is massive, she goes for $760. And even if I wanted to zoom in the image, I can't because she barely has any clothes covering her body. But what is this? Is this based on some Chinese mythology character? I have no idea at all. Alright, next one from CZ Studio. We have original character Kitchen Secrets. What? Anyways, this is just an original character where the character design is like an anime from the 1990s in terms of the face and the eye design, and it is castable. So the pricing of this figure from the standard version, $156. Yup, there you go. Oh, even though I love dioramas, the kitchen design over here is too unattractive, right? Not very nice, the kitchen design. Very plain, very generic. And then the EX version goes for $272. Generic etchy figure. Okay, moving on to the next one from DYS-Youngster Studio, we have Record of Ragnarok. 1x4 scale series Aphrodite. Oh, I think I know what this is. Is this that there was this artwork I think was trending in Twitter and X, and then some people shared it on Facebook and everywhere else where you have this black color diode, you know, supporting her oppai, one on each side. I think this is the character, right? I think it is. Okay, 1x4 scale, and this is a licensed resin figure apparently for $552. They should have followed the meme where the guys are supporting an oppai, one on each side. But if they did that, I think you can consider, you can classify that as art theft. Yeah. Still, that is potentially something third parties can think about, you know, when it comes to making a figure. Moving on to the next figure, we have one single Asuka figure from Evangelion for this week by C Art Studio, 1x6 scale. Okay, anime style head sculpt, which is the one you're looking at right now. She looks... Ooh, I like it a lot. This is different from the anime, anime character design, but in a good way, right? I don't hate it at all. And then there is a realistic style, which is basically Asuka 20 or 30 years later when she becomes an auntie, an Asian auntie, for 226, and you can get both for 347. For me, anime style is all I need. Yeah. Normally, I like buying DX versions or, the complete version of any figure, but in this case, where the realistic version and the anime version are two separate figures that can be bought separately, I am content with the anime version. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next figure over here. In my opinion, this is the main highlight figure of this week, and possibly the best Shenhe third-party figure I've seen, right? A lot of third-party figure brands, they focus on Yae Miko and what else? They focus on a lot of other Genshin characters. Yeah, Raiden Shogun. Brain fart moment. Raiden Shogun and Yae Miko gets a lot of attention from figure brands, and then Shenhe, sometimes it feels like she is a complete afterthought in a way. Maybe she is less popular, maybe. So, based on most of the Shenhe figures I've seen up to this point, yeah, I would say 80 or 90% of them they don't have a very good face sculpt. The face doesn't look right. And up to this point, today, this figure over here by Hyperspace Studio, this is possibly the best looking Shenhe figure yet so far. At 1x6 scale, yep. 1x6 scale, $316, the one you're looking at on screen. Version B, no pictures yet, must be some lewd version. And then version C, you get both for $500. Okay, so I just want to zoom in and see the face clearer if I can. Yeah. I would say this is the best face so far. The only problem is that Hyperspace Studio has, their figures in general look amazing, except sometimes the figure they release, they look ever so slightly different from what was being shown in their product pictures. I think Hota was a great example. Still attractive, but slightly different. So I am a bit concerned with this Shenhe figure, but I really hope that, they get it done right. Yeah, and her oppai belly has a piece of cloth covering it. I think we already know what the DX version is. Yeah. At least get the regular version. This is still the best Shenhe figure I've seen so far. Hands down, man. Very lovely figure. Moving on to the next one. Okay, we have Genshin Impact. Raiden Shogun. Version A, the one you're looking on screen, that is only $189, which is really cheap for the entire package over here. Version B is something I can't show on screen. Yeah, and version C, of course, you can get both for $280. I am not expecting this figure to be outstanding in anywhere, because most of the time you get what you pay for. This is only $189. Alright. Moving on to the next one. Oh boy. We have a figure of Ganyu, Asian Chinese auntie version of some kind. Like that realistic face over there looks like auntie in a way. Auntie face by NX Studio, 1x4 scale, formal version, $296. At least it is cheap for 1x4 skill, but I still can't recommend it. And then the very same figure in black bikini for slightly cheaper, and then deluxe version and get both for 465. No, man, no. It looks like a cosplayer, I know. What is her name again? Not important. This is not a cosplay channel. Yeah, this feels like buying a figure of a cosplayer rather than a figure of an anime or game character. I can't recommend it. Next one over here, we have GB figure of Furina from Genshin Impact by 97 Studio. That is obviously a CGI render. Okay, for 79 bucks. Oh, we have real product pictures over here. Oh, she actually looks good. Speaking of Furina, I have yet to see a single decent scale figure of her, be it 1x6 or 1x4. It feels like even third-party figure brands are ignoring her for some reason. Okay, next one over here. Okay, we have a lot of Honkai stuff from this point onwards. This is from Honkai Gakuen 2 though. Kiana Kaslana from Kaslana. Anyways, from Miwu Studio, $187. So this is like a Yankee version of Kiana. Yeah, I mean, she is holding a baseball bat. In school, is she doing vandalism? Yeah, vandalism or version. No Hadaka version at all. Kind of nice. Kind of nice at 187 bucks, man. Come on, man. Do some shading on the hair. Her hair is just plain white color. Do some shading. Moving on to the next one from Big Cute Studio. We have cute version of Firefly from Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, this past 2 or 3 weeks, we have a lot of Firefly figures. This is $91. Let's have a look at the pictures. I don't like this one. With these GB figures, right, sometimes it feels like it is a hit or miss. Some of them look amazing, the others not so much. Yeah, I don't like this one. Moving on to the next one from WM Studio, we have Sparkle from Honkai Star Rail, 239 bucks. Coming out this December. Oh wow, I just noticed it. This transparent goldfish over here. I'm not sure how did they manage to manufacture this, but oh no, I don't think it is transparent. I just don't know, man. I don't know at all. Because you see, the thing with resin is that it is difficult to reproduce them in transparent or translucent parts because resin, they turn yellowish very easily. And normally you don't see them unless it is a translucent part. So I'm interested to see at least how these effect parts all turn out in the actual product. They injected it with red color alcohol ink, presumably, so it shouldn't be that bad, right? 239 bucks is okay for this figure. I am more impressed by the base than anything else though. Moving on to the next figure, we have IU Studio is getting into making Honkai Star Rail because that is where the money is, right? IU Studio has been making a lot of One Piece figures so far. And their figures are quite cheap. As you can see over here, this figure of Robin is only 180 bucks, not yet confirmed, but unlikely to be more than 200 bucks at this point, I think. Because IU Studio, their figures are not that expensive in general. We only have 2 pictures because this is an early bird pre-order. Oh, this looks really good. And of course, they must be using real hairy material for this thing over here. The Chinese brands are using the real stuff. Even among PVC figures. I can't really tell if this is CGI render or actual product picture. This almost looks like actual product picture to me, but I can't be certain. I love her face. I think her face is the best part of this figure. Up next, another Firefly figure by Spirit Demon Studio. Okay, this is an early bird pre-order. No price, no release date yet. All we know is 1/6 scale. CGI render or real, or this is real product picture. This is a backdrop paper or cloth, right? Yep, it is a backdrop paper, the one they use for studio photography. This is actual product picture. Just that maybe they edited in a way that it almost looks digital, I think. Yeah. Now I'm certain this is actual product picture. Oh god. Is this just low resolution? That looks terrible, man. Just pixelation of the image. It is not the figure. Alright. I don't even know what to comment, man. Like, there are at least 6 or 7 Firefly figures so far by third parties. Every single one of them look decent, at least in product pics, but too early to judge, right? That is what my monthly third-party figure review brand video is for, but still, some figure brands, they don't release pictures of their production line, so it is not the best solution, but at least that is something. Anyways, let's move on to the next figure. Okay, from Zhenxiang Studio, we have Jingyu from Honkai Star Rail. Oh wow, this is really expensive at 1/6 scale. Regular version 296 and high-end version 396. High-end version, yeah, Hadaka parts as usual. Now with this Jingyu figure, maybe I'm biased because I pre-ordered the ones by other brands, but oh no, what? I just hate realistic faces like this so much, man. I know people from mainland China, collectors in mainland China will disagree very hard with me on this topic, but I just... At least you can display her blindfolded, at least. Now this looks so much better. Anime version, yeah, you are getting both face sculpts, both heads in this purchase over here. She looks fine, but nothing special. There has been way too many Jingyu figures already. Moving on to the next one. This is more of an announcement. We don't even have a prototype picture yet. Fenghua Studio is doing a banquet series of figures from Honkai Star Rail where you're paying just over $400 for 4 figures. So basically this is like a night dress, right? Yep, night dress. 4 figures in a set, and if they're including that base over there, yeah, that is amazing pricing. I think Fenghua Studio was also the one behind that 9-figure set that went on pre-order a few weeks ago from Honkai Star Rail as well. Yeah, we will see. Too early for me to say anything about this figure over here. Next one over here, this is a male character, but because it is Imagination Studio, which I am paying attention on, I'll give him a little bit of attention. Normally, I don't cover the guys, you know. So we have Imbibita Lunae for $500, including DLC. Yeah, Hadaka male characters if you are into that sort of thing. Now, are there any one of you who are willing to allocate a large portion of a display space for something like this? I would love to hear your opinion, man. Like, this is way too overkill. I love detailed figures. I love them. But this is way too much. In the end, I would say moderation is key. This is way too much, man. One of the better looking figures of Imbibita Lunae for sure, but this is one of those cases where they should give people an option to buy, you know, one without the base and one with the base. DLC version is this one over here. They don't have a picture of it yet. Imagination Studio, do 2 versions, man. 2 different versions. One with this base, one without. This is way too much. Moving on to the next one. Yes, Hall of Shame of the Week. This figure of Firefly is stolen art. And now Halo Studio enters a list of my blacklisted figure brands for having a history of stealing artwork That list is increasing month over month, not a good thing at all. Yeah, as you can see on screen, the artist behind this character is complaining about it on Twitter once again. So I am sharing this figure with you guys simply because, yeah, it is my obligation for doing figure news. This is news, you know, but don't buy it, right? So we'll move on to the next figure. Okay, we have Diamond Studio Nier Automata 2B. This one looks amazing for sure, but I still like the one by Cool Bear Studio quite a lot more. $408, though that can change. And the scale is not mentioned over here. I hope that it is 1/4 scale at that price. So let's have a look. There we go. Height 44 centimeters. This is a 1/4 scale. Okay. She looks great. I like it a lot, but there are better versions out there in a way. So unless those versions are completely sold out and I couldn't get them anymore, then I would consider something lesser like this one over here. But at least this one is $400, which is very reasonable though, given your what you are getting. Okay, moving on to the next 2B figure. Okay, so from Long Train Studio, we have this pair of 2B figures over here, which I can't say I like it. Yeah, very fan servicey, but that is all. Of course, the price tag there is not the real price. Maybe it is the face sculpt, which I don't like. I just don't like the face sculpts in a way. It looks less detailed than even the one before by Diamond Studio. Next, 2B figure over here, 2B and A2. This is among the worst Nier Automata figures I've seen in a long time. I mean, feels like something you'll see at cgtrader.com selling for $5. Yeah, I mean the 3D model, of course, not the actual product. Yeah, it looks like a low budget, low detail 3D model. And this pair of figures, even for $430 at 1/4 scale, I can't recommend it. Don't buy it. Save your money for something else better. Moving on to the next figure. Alright, here we go. The last 5 figures for today are something very cultured. So from Starry Sky Studio, where they are no stranger to doing figures like this, we have Kafka from Honkai Star Rail, 1/7 scale, $235, 1/4 scale, $430. So if this is your kind of vegetable, yeah, your veggie, then go ahead and buy it. Like, Starry Sky Studio has a decent track record when it comes to nailing the face of the figures they make. So I don't think you have to worry about the face. You just have to think whether you like figures like this. If yes, then maybe get one. Yeah. The next one over here, I'm not sure what they are thinking. Apex Studio. No, not the Apex Toys, right? Different company. We have Hadaka Boa Hancock and an original character for some reason sitting on a wooden barrel in missionary position. Like, whose idea was it to make a figure like this? And why would people want to buy something like this? Yeah, they are making it because people would buy them, but I just don't get it, man. I suppose that in the anime community, there are so many dry people who couldn't find a girlfriend, so they have to sell something like this to make them feel better. Yeah. Moving on to the next edgy figure over here from Seoul Studio, original character Futa Xiao Nanliang. Futa, guys, Futa. Buy it at your own risk. 1/6 scale at $235, June 2025 release. You know, at first glance, this looks like a licensed genuine figure from one of the Japanese brands. I'm not sure. It could be. It could be a licensed figure because this is an original character. So we'll see. Quite a shame, isn't it? Because her face is actually quite cute, if you can disregard the Futa part. Moving on to the next one over here from Circle Max Studio, we have Mipha from The Legend of Zelda. Wow. That is really flat. Flatter than a washboard, flatter than even my own washboard over here. Okay, this is available in 1/7 and 1/4 as well. 1/7 is going for $187, and the 1x4 skill $344. I'm not familiar with Legend of Zelda, but is her hair like that in the game? No, like detail is really lacking over here. I don't even know what the character looks like. This looks like that, not Sonic the Hedgehog, that red color Sonic. I don't know her name. I just call him the red color Sonic. It looks like that character, but in human form in a way. Yeah. And the last figure for today. Is this even a figure anymore? I don't even know why this thing exists. Shellfish Studio Genshin Impact Kamisato Ayaka and Kerching stand-alone buttocks. Yes. You are not even getting a Kerching or an Ayaka figure. You're just getting literally a butt and a pair of legs on a wall. And why they are Kerching or Ayaka respectively is because there is a picture of them on the wall. You are literally buying a pair of legs and a butt, man. Why does this thing even exist in the first place? Okay, $71 is actually for both, right? If you buy each, it is only $37. Yeah, this is only $37. I get it. Like, you know, when you buy adult toys that looks realistic and then there is a butt or a pair of legs over there, this is something like that, but in the form of a figure. Sometimes I just don't get what these third parties are thinking. But anyways, that is all for figures on pre-order this week, 13th to 18th May 2024. Which figure will you pre-order? Let me know down in the comments below. But regardless of which one you pre-order, if you did pre-order something, I already know you are rich. Yeah. And if you found this video entertaining in any way, give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel for anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.